Councillors, can I have your attention, please? Welcome to this meeting of the Town Planning Committee, and I now declare the meeting open at 7 p.m. We will commence the meeting with the following reflection. I would ask those gathered to join us now for a few moments of silence as we reflect on our roles in this chamber. Please use this opportunity for reflection, prayer, or thought to focus on our shared intention to work respectfully together for the well-being of our whole community. Thank you, everyone. The Cardinia Shire Council respectfully acknowledges that we are on the traditional lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. There are no apologies for tonight's meeting. Councillors, are there any declarations of interest for tonight's meeting in relation to this agenda? I see none and will note that. Thank you. Moving into ordinary business. The items on today's agenda are item 5.1. T230499 PA, Buildings and Works, Construction of a Shed, 1 Outlook Road, Emerald. Officers have been advised that the applicant for item 5.1 has lodged a Section 79 appeal, which is failure to determine at VCAT. Despite the appeal, the council still needs to make a decision, and there is an amended officer's recommendation which is going up on the screen. The amended recommendation is that council resolve to refuse to grant a permit for planning permit application T230499 for buildings and works, construction of a garage and earthworks and vegetation removal at 1 Outlook Road, Emerald, on the grounds listed on the screen under points 1, 2 and 3, and also part B, that council advise VCAT of its decision. So I think everyone can see that there now. Do I have a mover for this item? I see Councillor Jeff Springfield.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move the amended motion as listed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Springfield. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Davies. Councillor Springfield to speak first.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I don't think there's a lot to say. Everything's sort of captured in the report of the officer's recommendation of why it is to be refused. There is 6 objections also to this, which noted the same concerns that the officers had raised. In these matters, it does take a lot of consideration, because I feel for the applicants who do want to have a shed, want to improve their property for their various purposes. But look, I do think that the application as it is presented, it is very large. It will unduly, as per the objectors that have raised concerns, affect the amenity of the properties around that. And just to note that this is a council forum position for officers to take to VCAT, so we won't be making a determination tonight. It's just on the actual planning. I'm losing my words here. On the actual planning application, but I support the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Springfield. I'll go to your seconder, Councillor Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. I will note that in the report, the officers have reported that concerns were raised with the applicant from the beginning of the process, specifically relating to the size of the proposed sheds and the visual impact on the surrounding landscape. And the subsequent amendments by the applicants did not adequately address these concerns. And I'll also refer to that our state and local planning policy really seeks to maintain and complement the character of the township through sensitive siting and design. So the recommendation is that this proposal as listed doesn't complement the character of the township, especially because it has an exposed location on a ridge, and it's understood to unreasonably dominate the landscape and the surrounding built form. So for that reason, I am in support and echo Councillor Springfield's sentiments that this isn't being determined by council tonight, but we do need to take a position and report to VCAT. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Are there any other speakers who wish to contribute to this item? There being none, I'll go back to Councillor Springfield to sum up, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing further to add.
Thank you, Councillor Springfield. So I'll now put the amended officer recommendation to item 5.1 up for a vote. All those in favour? Against? I declare that carried. Moving on to item 5.2, planning matters dealt with by officers under delegated authority for August 2024. The recommendation is that we note the report. Do I have a mover for this item, please? Councillor Owen.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council note the planning matters dealt with by officers under delegated authority, August 2024 report.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Davies. Councillor Owen to speak first, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Davies. So the following matters have been dealt with under delegated powers since the last report to council. So this report goes from the 6th of June to the 5th of July. This report is divided up in particular wards where planning permits have been issued by officers. Matters include new sheds, dwellings, subdivisions, business identification, various matters, but it does meet the criteria for delegated authority. I note the earlier item was for a shed. Looking in the Beacon Hills ward, there's like 3 shed approvals. Obviously, that did not meet the criteria to come to this meeting directly. That was dealt with through delegated approvals because there was minimal objections that didn't meet that select criteria, or obviously officers agree that it does comply with the regulations. So it is a really important report. I do look forward to reading it each month because it's really important for councillors and the community to know what permits are being issued in the last month. I move so. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I'll go to Councillor Davies, the seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Owen. I know that's a total of 35 planning permits that have been approved under delegation. So that's from the 6th of June to the 5th of July, and they're across all wards. And yeah, sometimes they're sheds, sometimes they're 12-lot subdivisions, as one example for 170 Princess Highway in Pakenham. So it's a very interesting report, and I recommend all officers, all councillors note the officer officer issued permits. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none, so I'll go back to Councillor Owen to summarise.
Thank you, Mayor. No further.
Thank you. We'll now put the officer recommendation to item 5.2 up for a vote. All those in favour? Against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Item 5.3, Planning Scheme Amendment Activity Report, August 2024. The recommendation is that we note the report. Do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Kay Cameron.
Thank you. I wish to move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Is there a seconder? Councillor Ross. Councillor Cameron to speak first, please.
Thank you. This is a status of activity amendments which provides details relating to planning scheme amendments that are currently being processed. This is a list of current as of 12th of July 2024. It's interesting to note here that the Officer South Employment Precinct Structure Plan, which was adopted by Council on the 19th of July 2021, is amongst these amendments, and that it will be we'll get a decision made back from government after all the submissions have been received in relation to this structure plan for Officer South. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. I'll go to Councillor Colin Ross.
Nothing further, thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Radford.
Thank you. I was quite excited to see this one. This is the James Hicks Pottery, and there is an amendment under Section 96A of the Planning and Environment Act, which will amend the schedule to the Heritage Overlay to allow council to consider a prohibited use under the Heritage Overlay for an office. So this site has been a topic for many, many, many years. Part of that problem has been the overlay, the Heritage Overlay on it, which restricts a number of businesses and activities that can happen on this site. I don't see that amending it so that it can be an office would be an issue. So I'm really excited to see this. Council has currently requested further information from the applicant before it progresses, but I look forward to seeing how this goes, and I think many people in the officer community will be as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Radford. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see Councillor Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. So C278 is the municipal-wide amendment introducing an environmentally sustainable development local policy and making associated changes to our municipal strategic statement. This has been a key part of the work throughout our council term, and of note, later this month, the planning panel hearing date. Hearing will be held 26th of August, and hopefully, hopefully we're a little bit closer to getting an ESD policy for Cardinia. So it's great to see that progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see none. I'll go back to Councillor Kate Cameron to sum up.
Thank you. I have nothing further to add.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. All right, we'll now put the officer recommendation to item 5.3 up for a vote. All those in favour? Against? I declare that carried. Moving to item 5.4, Planning Matters VCAT Report, August 2024. The recommendation is that councillors note the report. Do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. I move per the officer recommendations that council notes the report.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that item? I see Councillor Colin Ross. Councillor Davies to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously there are rights of appeal in the planning process, and I currently there are 5 matters that are subject to the VCAT appeal. They include 195 Door Road, Pakenham, which was an application for use and development of land for a place of worship, a little bit of a controversial one. The council decision was to refuse it, and it has been appealed to be heard in October. Likewise, there's some other applications, including 4915 South Gippsland Highway in Lang Lang, which was a subdivision application, 20 to 32 Station Street, Pakenham, where the application was for using the land for an education centre, and in that example, it was actually a permit was issued, but an applicant appealed. So this is a public report, and I would encourage any interested residents or businesses or members of the public to access this information, as councillors have access to as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Councillor Ross, a seconder.
Nothing further, thanks, me.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? I see Councillor Moore.
Yes, Mayor. There's actually 9 applications in here, but I note on the other page there's one from the childcare centre, which is in Bunyip, which has caused I've put across Facebook. But I noticed that the objector has because the option is, of course, the objector can take these planning issues to VCAT, or the applicant can, whichever way it may go. So I see the objectors taken this to VCAT, and I'll be interested to see the outcome. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Are there any other speakers to this item? I see none. I'll go back to Councillor Davies to sum up.
Thank you, Mayor. And Councillor Moore is correct. There are 9 matters listed on this report, 5 which refer to current matters at VCAT and 4 which refer to matters recently decided at VCAT, which do include the Bunyip childcare development, McMahon Avenue in Beaconsfield, 214 Princess Highway, Pakenham, and Cardinia all feature on this as well, where one application was withdrawn, another was amended, and a permit granted at a compulsory conference. A council decision was affirmed for Cardinia, and in Bunyip, as Councillor Moore mentioned, the matter has been consented to a compulsory conference. So obviously planning can be very controversial at times, but it is very good to receive these reports so councillors are aware of what's happening across our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. We'll now put the officer recommendation to item 5.4 up for a vote. All those in favour? Against? I declare that carried. Thank you, councillors. That concludes tonight's meeting, and I now declare the meeting closed at 7:15 p.m. Thank you.